Good evening. Welcome to the November 25th Council Workshop. May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Gorman?
Here.
Mr. Todd?
Here.
Mr. Gregory?
Here.
Mr. Vogel?
Here.
Mr. Sodders?
Here.
Mayor Metz?
Here. All right, so the first thing on the agenda is a Teams or Zoom call with the attorney regarding a possible PFAS contamination in the water system. So we are going to get connected with him hopefully soon. Do you want us to go ahead and do the resolution? Or do you think,
I'll do whatever you want.
if you feel like you got it?
Well, I just can't control who he joins us.
Yeah.
I mean, the resolution won't take very long, right?
Who's gonna read it? Who reads it?
Who will,
Jeff is right now.
okay.
Want to do the resolution?
Yeah, so they'll just pop on, right?
I hope so.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. Does somebody have the charter part about where we go into regular session?
I do.
Thanks.
Thank you. I need to carry my
Literally
paper copy
doing
for real.
everything.
Okay.
Is there a motion to enter into regular session to read Resolution CM-25-60?
I'll make a motion to enter into regular session.
Second.
It's highlighted.
Interference with administration?
No, this is not executive session. You're just going into a I don't think you have to,
Yeah, I don't
I think you just make a
reading it.
motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
This doesn't require the charter. It's not executive.
All right.
So roll call.
Reading roll
We have to
call for
roll call
regular
on-
session.
To go into regular session?
Take a roll call vote.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Mr. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Sodders?
Yes.
Mayor Metz?
Yes.
Resolution CM-25-68, a resolution providing for a reduction in the property tax millage rate for the 2025 tax year within the municipality of West Milton, Ohio. Whereas the Miami County Auditor and the Miami County Board of Commissioners are recommending a millage rate reduction for the residents of Miami County, Ohio, and whereas the Council for the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio recognizes the financial burden placed on its property owners and the need for fiscal responsibility, and whereas a millage rate reduction will provide direct property tax relief to West Milton property owners, and whereas Council believes that the municipality of West Milton can maintain necessary public services and operations without requiring the levy of the full existing millage rate, and will review the millage rate for the 2026 tax year. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio that, Section 1, the property tax millage rate for the 2025 tax year is hereby reduced from 3.40 mils to 2.98 mils, a reduction amount of 0.42 mils, and the council shall review the millage rate for the 2026 tax year. Section 2, the clerk of council is hereby directed to certify a copy of this resolution to the county auditor and any other appropriate authorities stating the new millage rate for the tax year beginning 2025. Section 3, council has determined that this millage reduction will not substantially impair the ability of the municipality of West Milton to provide essential services. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage.
Thank you. I know Councilor Gregory and Councilor Sodders met with the county auditor about this. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
No, just that it's, no.
What?
I know you have questions.
Yeah, I just would, I think it gets confusing when you read through some of this and how the millage change and how this all affects everything with the tax year and the tax rate. So since you met with Angie at the county, can you give just a synopsis for the public so they understand in very simple terms what all this means?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
So basically, the decision is to lower the inside millage. There was a valuation done by the state this year that they have to do every 6 years. So we forego, it's around $27,000 that we forego in additional revenue. It doesn't cut our budget. And this is just 1 year at a time right now. So next year, the auditor's office will review again and make a different recommendation so that we can stay on top of trying to help our residents with increases in property taxes that are becoming unbearable for people.
Okay. So how does it affect property tax owners in the village? How does it affect them on a positive side with this?
And for those at home that couldn't see that, Counselor Fogel said that and then looked straight at Jill.
I did, because I figured.
So I have a feeling we're going to cut to Jill on an answer on
I
this,
would
right?
love that, Jill, because the auditor's office spoke very highly of you.
Oh, I appreciate that. What this is doing is there's still going to be an increase. Okay, that's out of our control. What this is doing is reducing the amount of the increase for the taxpayers.
Okay.
So they looked at the growth rate of what they had to do mandated by the state and realized this is way out of the norm for people. People can't sustain this. So what can we do to help alleviate some of this burden from the taxpayer? We're still getting an increase in our revenues. We're not going to lose money, which is great. We're just not going to get as much.
We're not going to get as much of an increase as what
What
would
we
have been.
would have if they wouldn't have reduced the millage.
Okay.
So this
All right.
is a good step forward as a council to, in my opinion, to say, hey, we want to support this.
And the way I understand is other villages, other cities in Miami County are doing something very
Well, they've
similar.
been asked to. I
Okay.
haven't. I've been out of the office for a few days, but
Okay.
from what I understand, I haven't heard that they've gotten a lot of opposition to it. I know that some places had some questions about it, but I called and talked to Angie too. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's
Gotcha.
we're not losing money, which is what we definitely don't want to do.
Okay.
Can't afford that. We're just reducing the amount that we're going to get.
Okay. And I know that this is always something that also can affect the school, but from what I've read through the email traffic, this is not something that affects the school negatively. Is that correct?
That I can't answer that.
I can answer that because that was my first concern was how does this affect the school and how does this affect the Southwest Joint Ambulance District, and it does not. So they make recommendations. This only affects our income. It does not affect the school at all, and they actually did not make a choice to lower millage or to change anything with the school board or the ambulance district. So they are not affected in any way with this.
There are
Okay.
certain local jurisdictions that did not get any kind of a reduction.
Okay, understand. So it's a win-win across the board for the village residents, for us as a whole, to make this change. So,
Yeah.
I think we just overcomplicated it with questions and clarification. I think we should have just said it's a win for Mayor Metz and her efforts to reduce taxes in the village.
Good job,
And,
You are
and-
welcome.
and left
This
it
could
at
be my
that,
legacy
but you guys had to answer the questions and make it clear and understandable and all that.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was very concerned about this. I will say, like, that was the very first question I asked, and Jeremy can attest to that. Like, that was the first question I asked was how does this affect the school? Because that to me is very important. I mean, also our budget too, but the school and the ambulance district, and they have every entity, I guess, that receives property tax money had a different recommendation.
Got it.
I'm sure it will be discussed at the next WEMA meeting with the school board, and we'll probably get clarity at that point from the folks. Didn't
Yeah.
know.
Sounds great.
All right, anything else?
Nope. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution CM 25-68 as written and read.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Who got the second?
Give it to
Levi
me.
can have it.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Sauter?
Yes.
Mayor Met?
Yes. Is there a motion to exit regular session?
I motion we exit regular session.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dorman?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Ms. Gregory?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Saunders?
Yes.
Mayor Met?
Yes.
And Fogel, is this the first time that this has happened in your involvement with council?
Yes.
A lowering of?
Yeah.
I don't think it happens very often, so to happen under your leadership.
You're welcome.
Mayor Metz, I think it's historical.
Thank you, everyone.
This is what happens when you put girls in charge.
I'll go down in history on November 25th, 2025. I think I feel like we're ready possibly with this, but
I
I
think Jeff's on the
saw it
phone with them trying to.
pop
The attorney.
up.
Got him on the phone, he doesn't understand, we're not sure why it's not working.
Okay.
You want to?
Okay.
Go ahead if you wish, yeah,
Okay.
So just go on with the rest of the meeting?
if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll try to
Okay.
get this resolved.
Jill, do you want to start with the 2025 budget amendments?
Yes.
Okay.
So this should have been in your packet, I believe it was. This is the same information that we went over at the last time, at the last workshop. The only changes, and I put it in bold, it's the second line, is we had budgeted for an emergency generator for the village office. Building. Ben has worked very hard to obtain quotes and everything. And I'm going to defer to him to kind of explain why the cost is so much higher than what was budgeted, because it ends up being, we actually have to run a gas line and all this stuff. So, do you want to kind of brief?
Yeah,
him?
I think we've kind of touched on it. I just kind of an overview of what we talked about. The original generator we had, was it 52 originally?
Yeah, it was like
That was my, that was going off of quotes that I had received in mid to late 2025 for the generator. So that budget amount was actually for the generator and to run the electric. However, after many meetings out here and many conversations, we're going to need to use a natural gas generator. And tariff increases really raise the price of the generator. So the generator itself is going to be roughly $54,000. And then the gas line, it needs to have its own dedicated gas line because of how many BTUs this building pulls with all the furnaces, the hot water heaters and all that. So a contractor's going to have to come in and basically tap into Dewar Drive, run a gas line back behind where close to, on this side of where the dumpsters are at back there. And then they still have to hook up the generator, send the lines to the city building or into the mechanical room. And there's also it's called a transfer switch. Basically what it does is it senses the power goes out, it does all the work transferring it over. So to do all of that, that was $108,600 for the gas line and all the installation. So that pretty much brings us to where we're at.
Wow. It was over 50,000 just for the separate gas line.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So the total is 100.
the total's like almost 170.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's 100.
Unbudgeted.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
54 for the generator, and then
106 for the gas line.
Right.
I mean, it's a major infrastructure
Wow.
project.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, it's not like your regular residential gas line. They're gonna have
No.
more. It's a larger gas line that carries a little more pressure. So obviously there's safety factors there that you have to consider. Plus tapping it on and getting the fee to tap it on and all of So, I mean, I know we're way over. Again, with the generator program that I've been working on for the last 5 years, this would be the last to accomplish the larger goal, of having everything generator. However, I understand the price is much higher than we had anticipated. So, you know, I'm just leaving it up to manager and council as to if they want to proceed. The only time factor really going here is the price on the quote for the generator, because there's going to be another tariff tax surcharge placed on after this quote expires.
Can we get an American-made generator so that doesn't matter?
It's a Kohler. I think they're made. I don't know where they're made. I don't know.
Not in America, there's a tariff.
Every generator we have is Kohler, and it keeps our prices down on our maintenance agreements and stuff, and we've never had a problem. We've got very old Kohler generators that have never had a problem, so I hate to,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So question here, because that's just 120 that's in that line, but it's 160 that we're going to need. So don't we need to bump that up to 160?
No, we already have budgeted 51.
Oh, okay.
So this is an addition.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification. Yep.
When will that be installed?
It will all be driven by how long it takes to get the generator. So, if council wants to move forward, there'll be a resolution at the December meeting to purchase that. And I would say, I'm just gonna guess it could be up to 3 months out would be guess. So spring. Yeah, to get the generator and.
So
I'm
you're
supportive.
you're looking to us to make a decision, do we want to continue to do it or
Just
not do it?
Yeah, I mean, just because it's more than what we had budgeted. So I just want to make sure that, I know that fire and police and, you know, everyone here, this building will be a command center.
So you're going right where I was going to say. We dodged, a few major tornadoes not that long ago, and it really tore up areas around us. And I think the village looks to this building to be able to be functional in a case of a disaster like that. And I just think that's, for the lights to be on at your police station, your fire station, your village management, I just think that's super important. And what you said about it being a command center, I think that makes a huge difference in a community. That, worst case scenario, even if we had to put people up in here, we could. And whether it be, a winter emergency, a spring, a summer, or whatever, that we'd be able to handle it. I think it's important, and I think
Yep.
it's something that, those are systems that, with maintenance, like you said, to be here 50 years from now or longer, until we put in our fusion reactor up at the fusion reactor site. I just think it's smart.
The wastewater plant has Kohler. That's the one that was put in 90, 91, and it still does a great job. And I've heard horror stories about some of the other ones. They're trying to save 20 grand, and at the end of the day, they're actually spending more money to maintain it. So.
Yeah, I'm in agreement that we need it.
And I think it's super important that it be natural gas. I'm going to be honest. If you've got an ongoing disaster, that being a huge part of the cost. So no matter what goes out, the electric goes out, you can't run down to Shell and buy gas. You can't run to the nearest place and get diesel. If it's a diesel generator, you kind of got what you got on hand, and then you got to go further out, and then you're competing against everybody. But the natural gas line keeps flowing no matter what the disaster. It goes for, So I think it's super important that we know that source is going to be there. It's going to be functional no matter what. We're not relying on storing. We're not relying on, transfer systems. It takes a lot of other pieces out of the puzzle that, to me, again, it's added value for it to be connected to the natural gas line.
Yep.
Sounds like, yeah, we're all in support. We'd like to have a resolution prepared for the December meeting.
Can do.
Yep.
Have that now?
I'm supportive of it as well.
Do we want to go back to we have the attorney now?
Yeah, do you care
Yes.
if we take a pause on the budget?
Oh, no, that's all I had.
Oh.
Unless you had questions on it, 'cause we went over it before. I mean, if you
Nope.
want me to review
Good.
it again, I can. But really, that was the biggest change. And then I think we talked about it last meeting, it was $8,000 on there for police training that we took off.
Mhm.
We don't need it anymore. But other than that, everything else is talked about, unless you have questions on it.
Nope.
And
Good.
there'll-
No, thank you.
Scott, do you have
There'll be
questions?
a,
Thank you, Ben.
Good.
I think it's great.
Totally good.
I'm glad to have the generator process done, because it's been a long time coming to get everything good, so I'm gonna be glad when it's done.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
and done right.
Yes.
It will be.
Steve? We're ready.
I'm a partner in Kegler, Brownhill and Ritter, which is a Columbus-based law firm in Ohio. I do a lot of work advocating for local governments. We represent the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. We represent several cities, Westerville, Cleveland, some others. We actually work on entities called transportation improvement districts, advocate for them, not only in the State House, but also represent them in courts of law. So we have a pretty significant public practice, government practice, local government practice. And what I'm here to talk to you about is the opportunity for West Milton to get involved in a settlement. It's actually not active litigation, it's settled litigation. That's the good news. You don't have to sue anybody. The people that you would be getting a settlement from have already been sued and have already, can you hear me okay?
No, we're having trouble hearing you.
You're
Oh.
fine. We've got the sound routed through the computer speakers versus anything else, so.
If you hold that up
That's what I
here,
was wondering.
and I'll turn these up. Yeah.
Sure.
So like,
Then you gotta work around.
let me turn this up. Okay, see if that helps.
All right, try talking now.
Okay, any better? No?
Keep talking.
Okay, well, I'll keep talking then. So I'll start at the beginning if that's okay. I'm Steve Tuggan with Kegler, Brownhill and Ritter. We do a lot of work for local governments in Ohio. We're based, of course, in Columbus, and we advocate for transportation improvement districts. Those are multi-jurisdictional entities at the county level that work on a lot of roadway projects. We represent them in the State House, and we also represent them in courts of law. I've represented some in before Congress, actually. We also do a lot of work for cities. We represent, among others, the cities of Westerville and Cleveland. We advocate for them. We've represented Cleveland in some litigation, so very active in that regard. What I'm here to talk to you about is something that used to be in a court of law, but has actually been settled. While the account is in a court of law, you don't need to sue anyone. And this has to do with what are called forever chemicals, or PFAS. And what happens is that many years ago, there were manufacturers who invented PFAS, which was actually at the time thought to be a wonderful chemical. It was an outstanding fire suppressing chemical that worked really well. The problem is that once you get PFAS in your system as a human being, once you take it in, chances are you're never going to get rid of it. It's going to be in you forever, and hence it's called forever chemicals. And while that may be great, the problem is that as has been established in a court of law, there's some real toxic things that could happen to you because you have PFAS in your system. PFAS was used in a variety of ways, but the most common was used by fire departments, and as a result of that, there were other uses as well. Because of that, PFAS has leaked into our water. into aquifers and actually reservoirs, and it has contaminated a lot of our water sources. As a result of that, public water systems are going to need in the future to incur significant financial expenses cleaning their water of PFAS. It's hard to get PFAS out of the water, but there are techniques that you can use. I'm not an engineer. I can't go into those details, but I can tell you they are not cheap. But as a result of all these difficulties caused by PFAS, some plaintiffs' attorneys filed suit against a number of the players, the corporate players that put PFAS into our system, into the water, into the ground. It was alleged during the lawsuit that these companies knew about the damage that they were causing, but nevertheless persisted and kept it into the system. Well, those claims were settled. And there were a number of different causes and places where PFAS is located, public water, also on airports, also in industrial parks, a number of different places where the contamination has occurred. But the first settlement that was reached was against 4 companies. That would be 3M, Tyco, BASF, and DuPont, and it had to do with public water systems. And what they did is the plaintiffs settled their claim for a total of about $12 billion, that's with a B, $12 billion. And that settlement was established in a federal court, actually in South Carolina. There was a phase 1 of litigation initially, of the settlement. And what phase 1 claimants were selected because they actually were highly suspected of having PFAS. There was a known release of PFAS within their jurisdiction, and therefore they were first at the table, if you will, to get settlement dollars. Well, phase 1 is done. Now we're in phase 2. In phase 2 jurisdictions, and by the way, the village of West Milton is a phase 2 jurisdiction, they are able to assert potential claims for settlement dollars as well. In order to establish a claim, you have to have your water tested for PFAS. There's about 29 different chemicals that constitute the PFAS family of chemicals, if you will, and you get your water tested. And if you agree to have your, and if your water has detectable levels of PFAS chemicals, then you have a potential claim. That claim is then those numbers are actually run through a rather complex matrix, and we can estimate. It can be estimated what your claim would be in order to from the settlement. There are cities in Ohio that will recover millions of dollars from this process. You're a village, you're not as large, but there is a potential that you have a claim. My understanding is that you get your water from Troy, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And so Troy's evaluating their own claims. I know that for a fact. And I just want to let you know that, and my understanding also is that when you receive your water from Troy, that you will actually treat it just a little bit, maybe with some fluoride. Is that correct? You just kind of boost its contents from time to time? Okay. So you are listed again as one of the 240 potential claimants in this. So I'll tell you that there's no harm. You're out absolutely nothing if you get your water tested and you submit a claim. Let me explain how that works. The law firm of Kegler, Brown, Hill, and Ritter is in partnership with a law firm called Grossman and Kelly. and Grossman and Kelly has a lot of expertise in these large toxic tort cases. And so we are partnering. Kegler Brown is local counsel to Grossman and Kelly. We've already signed, I could tell you the list, we've signed somewhere around, I think we're at 8 different jurisdictions just in Ohio. We're working in many different states, but Ohio, we have about 8. It may be 6. I can pull it up, tell you who they are. We're looking to, we want to know if you're interested in filing a claim. The way it works is if you retain us, it's a no cash retainer. You do not owe us anything up front. We take care of all our costs, and the costs include the testing of your water. So your water will be tested, and our team, principally Grossman and Kelly, will pay for all of the water costs, all water testing that you have. Our company is actually a company that is linked with this settlement is called Eurofins. They test water. They will actually ship vials by FedEx to you, whoever you designate. Your designee will actually administer the test and literally dip the vials in your source water and then mail those vials back to Eurofins. And again, it'll just all be FedExed. Normally what we do is we ship on a Friday. It shows up on Monday. On Monday, we know that your testing person will be in and available. They'll dip that in, take the test, and Tuesday night they'll FedEx it back again at our cost to the testing facility, and we'll get the test running. If there is a compensable level of PFAS in your water, then we'll let you know, and we'll be able to provide you an estimate pretty quickly of how much you will what you'd be compensated from the court under the settlement. There is a possible mitigating circumstance, and that is, and I don't think this is very probable. I'm told it's practically impossible, but I don't know that definitively. If somehow that $12 billion is exhausted, then you could be facing a slight haircut from what you would otherwise be claimed. But we, again, don't think that that's very likely to happen. We are paid out of the back end. So we pay, it's a typical attorney contingency arrangement. We get paid a third. And so if you have a claim, we're paid a third out of the back end of the settlement. No cash comes from the village to pay us. That is the arrangement. Here's the catch. There is a catch. There always is, right? The catch here isn't all that significant. The catch is that we have to get you into the system by the end of the year. If you're not in the system by the end of the year, then you forfeit your ability to file a public water system claim in the PFAS litigation settlement. They had to have a date certain in order to do that, and as a result of that, that date is by the end of the year. You don't have to have all of your testing questions answered, but you do have to be in the system. So we have just to let you know what operation we have. We have a network of law firms that are all working together. We all have different roles. I deal with the relationship with the client. You're our client. And I make sure that the folks that are in charge of testing, that firm contacts you and works with your water person. I was just on a conference call today where that was arranged for a client for New Lexington, who is a client of ours over in Perry County. And so we coordinate, and by the way, also a village. So we do have a lot of experience in dealing with villages. And so as a result of that, we're going to arrange on the 5th of December for the testing kit to be FedExed to New Lexington, and then they're going to send it back on Tuesday, the ensuing Tuesday. That's about it. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'm sure you have plenty.
So I have a question. Since we're a water customer, Troy, Miami County, has their water already been tested under this process or not?
I think Troy's getting their water tested is the answer. You said you're also a customer of Miami County?
Well, it's in.
Oh, in Miami County. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I've been talking to the folks in Troy. I think they're in the process of doing that. We obviously coordinate everything that you're doing with what they're doing. I mean, I know the folks over there. So that's probably that's not going to be a problem. Ideally, we can test your water only, but a lot of times I'm not the testing authority here. A lot of times the testing authority, the testing expert, will ask to talk to the original source public water systems and coordinate their testing results as well. That's the way it generally works.
Sorry. Okay, one other question. You mentioned the compensation. If there's a certain level of PFAS in our water and we get some type of compensation from this, lawsuit that has already been settled, what does that compensation go towards? So what do you use it for? What happens with that?
I'll answer it this way. The expectation from the settlement is that you will spend it to have an intervention to clean up your water. Okay. I am unaware of any actual legal requirement that you do that. So the expectation is that it would be a political expectation and not a legal expectation.
Okay.
So, with us buying water from Troy, would we have to give that money to the city of Troy? Or would we keep it for ourselves? So, I mean, what water would we be cleaning up? And would any of it go to residents who, I mean, I've got a cup full of water here. So would the money go to the residents who are, I mean, essentially like victims of this?
I think, I'm sorry to interrupt. You certainly can spend the money the way you want, to be direct about it. And you might want to coordinate with Troy that if you have PFAS in your drinking water, you may want to coordinate a solution with Troy. They could potentially come and ask you and say, look, we're trying to get this cleaned up. We filed a claim. They have not to my knowledge, they've not retained counsel to file a claim yet. But they know that we're talking. They actually recommended that I talk to you guys. My assumption is they're going to file a claim. And, the fact is, it would be very unusual if you have PFAS in your water and they don't have any in theirs. It's conceivable because there could be something in transit that somehow gets infused in the water and then causes you to have it when they don't. It's not very likely, to be honest. So, but yeah, you would have the option of coordinating with them. It's a fair question.
So the county also purchases water from the city of Troy. So the township residents. Have you got any feedback from the county commissioners?
I have actually not talked to Miami County, no. And you're telling me something I didn't know, so.
Then you mentioned we have to decide by the end of this year, in the next 5 weeks. How many times in this agreement with your firm then would we have water testing done? Is it a once and done, or is it every 6 months, or for 10 years?
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's what I would say is, I should have mentioned that. If there's no PFAS in your water and you don't want to go any further, our relationship ends. No harm, no foul. We tested the water. We did that together. You owe us absolutely nothing. Zilch. And you can, if you so choose, you can terminate the relationship. However, and I think this is very important, you're actually making a point for me. Suppose you get your water tested and there is no there's no detectable level of PFAS. And at an abundance of caution, which I believe we'll pay for, we'll pay for it. An abundance of caution, you decide a year from now, or actually, I'm sorry, about 6 months from now, you want to get it tested one more time because you might have a what's called a special claim. You can do that, and if there is PFAS, then you would have a claim at that later date. There are what are called special claims that happen. And given, in Troy, I mean, there are some public documents indicating that they've had time to time some challenges with PFAS in Troy. I would certainly encourage you to test in 6 months right around July 1 or so to determine whether there's any detectable level, and we'll help you with that as well. But you're not under any obligation. If you say, you know what, we tested, there's nothing there, we're not interested in retesting, that's fine. Now, what could happen is that, say Troy tests again and they find something that's there, or things have changed, and their PFAS numbers are up, and you find that out, you'll probably want to test again. I mean, I would have. So.
But I think it sounds like to me that since we get our water from Troy water customers, that we have to be in lockstep and in concert here with Troy as well to make sure that they're joining in this program also. So I don't know who from the village has contacts with Troy to see which direction they're going, but
I would contact other engineer and say, I want to take advantage of this opportunity. City engineer.
okay.
I think that makes sense to me. I think it's possible that we could have contamination, we will not, but very, very, very unlikely. I understand the person who's been planning to participate since it didn't cost them anything, he's still testing. I think Mr. Mercedes, I was going to.
So, who have you talked to in Troy? Have you talked to like the engineers or council or the mayor or?
I've actually talked to, I can tell you that right now, guys. Hold on for a second. Christy Batera, I believe is her name. Hold on for a second. She deals with water issues. Let me just pull this up, guys. Hold on, please.
The mayor council would also have to decide before the end of December, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's interesting. I've talked to Gary Evans and to Christy Batera. And let me tell you that it's the question of who needs to authorize it is actually up to the individual political subdivision's legal counsel. We are not filing a lawsuit on your behalf. We are making a claim on your behalf. We have seen Ohio jurisdictions counsel say that, because you're just hiring essentially a vendor to conduct this specialized activity, that that staff can simply retain that person. Whoever you have that's an employee, designated employee, can retain that person, and council does not need to authorize it. I have seen other jurisdictions where staff has consulted with council. I have seen other jurisdictions where council has authorized it, authorized it through a resolution. I mean, we've been retained, I think, through 3 separate orders of operations, depending on, and some of it has to do with what, if folks have a charter, what it looks like, what your ordinances look like, all those sorts of things, how you're organized. It's up to your council to decide. So you may actually literally be taking a separate process than the city of Troy does. But I actually, whoever brought that up, you're kind of fuzzy on my laptop screen. I do believe that no matter what, the two of you should be in lockstep and should probably file with the same council. I really believe that's a good idea. I mean, I want you to get as much as you can from this process and coordinate, at the very least, if you choose different councils to coordinate with them. I don't think they've made a choice. I've talked to them repeatedly. We presented at the Ohio Municipal League's seminar on this. Bevan Schneck at the Municipal League asked us. I've known Bevan for I think 15 years now, and Bevan asked us to present on it since we have a very strong Ohio presence. A lot of national law firms don't have a strong presence, but we wanted to have a role in helping out local governments, and so we signed up with Grossman and Kelly to do this. So, but I do think coordination is very important.
Hey, you mentioned this is at no cost to us for the water testing. What is the cost of having water tested for
it's a couple $1,000s per dip. So if you have two different, you probably have one source, but it's a couple $1,000s. I have yet to see an invoice. I don't know. They do not share that, but I mean, it's not millions of dollars or anything, but it's a couple $1,000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a map that I pulled up with PFAS and drinking water that's above the proposed limit and some of the areas around us that have, had it tested, looks like it is above the limit, then others that aren't. Is that valid? That the map that I'm pulling up and I'm looking at? Are you familiar with that?
It's going to seem very random. If you're sourcing your water near an airport, if your well's near an airport, that's not good. I can just tell you because for a long time, the FEA, it was mandated that I think periodically, I think it was every year or so, that if you can imagine this, they had to test their fire suppression systems, which is a good idea for our airports to do that. These airplanes are going around carrying, as unfortunately we learned on 9/11, they're carrying a lot of fuel, which is dangerous when it catches on fire. And as a result of that, you want to have a really good fire suppression system. Well, what they would do is they would operate it and just throw a whole bunch of PFAS on the fire to test it, and then it would dissipate and go into the ground. And sometimes, depending on where your aquifer is, go into your groundwater and contaminate
our
your
airport
groundwater.
is south of our aquifer.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
If we have until the end of the year, why are we when was the conversation started? Because we only have one more regular meeting left.
yeah.
And so I'm just curious why the conversation, you're just here now.
Well, I just got to you. I just started this process in August. So, we signed up and we had a conflict clearing process and other things that are, as lawyers speak, for a delay, but we signed up and started helping folks. We found out that Ohio political subdivisions like yourself were grossly underserved and that very few claims had been filed in Ohio. And so, it was, I think maybe 50 out of, hundreds that are eligible had filed. And we thought that was horrible. And so we thought that we better get busy and help and sort of spread the word. But, the fact is people get busy and, I apologize for not getting to you sooner. I did my best to get to you as soon as I could. We can, so I assume you have a December meeting and that's it, right?
Yeah, we just have one more meeting in December.
When's the date of that?
December 8th.
No, sorry, 9.
The 9th? Okay. Well, here's what we could do. We could have I can have look, we can't send the vials until you've passed your resolution. You already have our engagement letter, but we can actually set it up so that, and I apologize, I don't have every day of the week in December committed to memory. Let me take a look here. So you're on Tuesday again, the 9th. So what we would do is you would want to make sure that your water person is available to do testing on the 15th. Okay? And we would we would walk and chew gum at the same time here. And we would do a lot of, if Jeff believes that there is a consensus among you that you should proceed this way, then we'll get started and put together a coordinated approach. We'll also talk to Troy. I know the folks at Troy, make sure they're on track, make sure they know that you're interested. Again, they recommended that we talk to you as well. So, we can coordinate it and get that done. And we can meet that deadline. Just as long as you're able to get that testing done at that time. Hopefully, I know a lot of people including myself, like to take time off around the holidays. Hopefully that's soon enough before the holiday that you're not facing that. So we can certainly work around that. It's definitely not too late to sign up even at that date on a meeting that day.
Okay, I'd be interested too to see what the county commissioners have to say, which I can reach out to them and ask them.
I know from my perspective, I'm supportive, but I just think we need to be in lockstep with Troy since we get our water.
That's where I'm at, like the people that are, the entities that are using the water, like I think it's something we need to do. I just want to make sure that we're all like on the same team. It's very important to me that we're all on the same team.
I think it's important that the people at home understand too that this is that there's nothing that's happened to create concern that there's anything unsafe with the water currently, and that this is part of a larger picture, and that there's nothing to make us think that there's something in the water at this point. This is a CYA type precautionary event, and get in or not get in case there would be something. But I'm going to guess that water's been tested for PFAS before. I see Ben shaking his head. I would just think it played a role when they dug those wells, when they, part of the whole system. It's the same aquifer that Pickwa uses. I'm going to guess that this isn't going to be new. It's going to be precautionary. And so I agree with what you're saying in lockstep with Troy, because we're their customer, and that there's no downside in this for us, but I just don't want to create any panic or any concern that we don't have anything less than top-notch grade water. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I'm at on it, is find out more from Troy, go lockstep with them and keep drinking our great water.
I got a quick question for Steve. Hey, Steve, this is Ben Heron, Service Director. You guys have a chart for like microgram per liter on what you're looking for that would be so we test for UCMR 5, unregulated chemicals, and we actually just got our test results back to the US APA this week. And I just kind of wanted to compare what their micro levels were compared to what the micro levels were that were set in the court judgment, if that makes sense.
So you just said you got your USMR test back, and it has does it have the 29 different chemicals that you're testing for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend that we do, if everybody's okay with it, I don't think it takes a resolution to do this. I'm sorry, what was your first name?
It's Ben.
Ben, okay.
Yeah.
Ben, So what I recommend is that you email me, if you feel comfortable, you email me that in anticipation that you know, that we may represent you guys, and we can take a look at it. I'm doing this for another jurisdiction, and we'll let you know what our analysis of that. We can kind of take a look at it and put together some, because the process of calculating a claim is slightly different for this settlement than it is for compliance purposes with UCMR 5.
Yeah,
And
that's kind of what I
so-
wondered. Yeah.
Yeah, and but we use the same raw data as inputs to our analysis. So what you and again, the other thing I'll tell you is, Ben, is that, like I said before, these things change over time, and you may actually see something where it spikes or something when we test you a second time. But I'll take a look at your test. You email it to me. I'll get it in front of somebody who can take a look at it. And look, if it looks like if everything is really super clean, then I mean I'm gonna actually make it the recommendation that, you know, maybe you file on the contingency that it might spike next year and you'll have a special claim.
Right.
And that would be the only reason why I'd recommend you do that. But, you know, you all ought to know with your eyes open what you know, the reason why you're doing this. But it doesn't hurt at all to be in the system for in case you see a spike on down the line. And you only have a certain amount of time. It's somewhere between 6 and 12 months that you have. But things can change. We've seen it change pretty considerably in that period of time. There are these blooms of PFAS that are out there, and if they shift in you know, your water source and get to the well, it can change things very quickly.
And I'll log in and I'll pull round one's testing also. And I can set round 1 and 2. That way we can see if there's any changes between that reporting period and.
Yep. And one thing is for sure is if I look at them, I'm not going to be able to help you. I've got somebody that will though. Okay. Happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
All right. Thank you. Thank you again for your time and for your consideration.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. Have a good Thanksgiving. Bye-bye, everyone.
You too. Bye.
But I think I need to focus on more to hear.
I know.
It's the first thing that showed up when I Googled this all during the meeting.
So like for the record, so uncontaminated chemical monitoring is something from the US EPA that since we're kind of like, just like he said, we're kind of like a second tier water provider, whether we make it or not, we're a public water system. So USMR 5 have done 2 rounds of forever chemicals testing, which is every chemical he listed. And right now we're like way below what would be any kind of alarming. They test the microbes. So I'm just curious what they test, what their level is.
Yeah.
'Cause we're so, I mean.
And that's the testing that your guys came around and collected from.
That's actually lead.
Okay.
This is, we take the samples at our sample points for the UCMR forever chemicals.
In the distribution center or system somehow?
But
Okay.
we're like well below what you would even consider.
I in my head, I wasn't imagining that this is a new test for our water, and you're verifying that's the case.
They may have decided that .008 that's actually nothing in our system actually may constitute an alert with the suit. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever those claims qualify.
Right.
I know. So in that case, I don't see that it hurts to do
I don't see a
it.
downside to doing whatever Troy does.
If they send us the vials, we'll take them, fill them, turn around, get them back.
Yep.
So do we have to give him a response?
We gotta do an ordinance, don't we? Or
A resolution.
A resolution, I believe, yeah.
So
And
we
which-
have to have one on
Have
the
that
agenda for
Yes,
December 9th.
I
Yeah.
believe that's correct.
At least we got the time, we can do
I'll
that.
get with
so.
the law director and have it prepared if that's your wish.
Yeah, and
Yes.
in the meantime, just figure
Yep.
out what Troy is doing.
The Mayor Matt's Clean
Will
Water
do.
Ordinance.
There you go. Again, you're welcome.
You're gonna make a movie.
Oh, goodness. Okay, next. We were going to discuss adding the police and fire tax levy renewal to the next, would that be in May?
May.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm supportive of
No,
that.
that's what I was just looking at you,
Mm-hmm.
but
It's,
any thoughts on that, or not doing it, or doing it, or?
I mean, we have to do it. It's not a,
Well, the only question is if you're going to do it in May, so you have a
Oh.
second shot at it.
Yes.
If it doesn't pass the first time. Or you wait till November and it's a one-off.
Yeah. So if we're good with that, then you'll have the,
And just so everyone knows, again, this 1.5%, 1% is the village tax, and the other 0.5% is fire and police.
and
Is
it's-
how that's split
and
up.
it's the .5 that's a renewal.
It's the 0.5 is the only part that's a renewal?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's no
Gotcha.
voting on the other.
Okay, very good.
all right. Next on the agenda, award of the construction contract for the South Side Sanitary Sewer Main Replacement Project.
Bless you.
Ben, did you have any info for us?
Yeah, basically, the project came in, the low bid with an asterisk is 797,487, which is Broomball Construction. The actual low bid that came in was another vendor, and they actually did not calculate their bid tab correctly, so that was thrown out. If you went by the bid that they had, it was a difference of hundreds of dollars, I think, not like thousands of dollars. However, their bid couldn't be accepted due to the fact that the quantities were figured improperly. So this, but 797,487 for the project came in well below the engineer's estimate.
Several hundred thousand.
So, and we do have it's a good contractor. They've definitely passed all of our inquiries, so just looking forward to getting that line replaced. That's a big source of I&I. So, yeah, it's gonna be a big deal.
And that's due to start in, when in 2026?
We don't have the actual, we haven't met with them yet. The
Right.
bid was just awarded. I mean, the bid hasn't really been awarded till we do the resolution of the project.
Yep,
And
right.
once it's awarded, then we'll come up with the schedule.
Okay. What are you thinking? What are you targeting next year?
I mean, they might want to start yet this year, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Clearing and
You've
stuff,
got to
yeah.
clear the entire length of the line.
Oh, okay, okay. And just a little under 800,000.
Mm-hmm. They just need to, they're just in a rush because they want to order they want to get everything ordered. So that's really the rush right now is getting everything ordered.
Makes sense.
All right. Next, we have the Hamilton Street parking lot project. I know we've talked about this quite a bit.
May I ask a quick, Counselor Fogel, were you able to reach out to the last property owner? As I recall, we had 5 of the 6.
We talked to
Perfect.
Mr. Pollard and
Perfect.
his wife. Ben and I met with them on a Friday. Unfortunately, you were out at that time, so I don't know, Ben, I'll turn it over to you if you've got any updates from, I know you were reaching out to Mr. Pollard's son.
Yeah.
Has an asphalt business and
Okay.
said that he could also give a quote
Sure.
for the parking lot as well. So I
Great.
think we're trying to get that and then kind of see where we're at. He was very, straightforward that, he wants to help out with the project, but wants it to be done right and, understood that the other folks were definitely interested in supporting it. So I don't know, Ben, anything
No,
else from
that's-
your side?
That's pretty much it. Currently, it's Mike Pollard, and he's working, very early to very late, trying to get their projects buttoned up for this year. But as soon as he gets done and has time to even think, we were just going to discuss the situation we have, how many properties, and if they would be willing to quote that, which I'm pretty confident that he's going to submit a price for that.
Yeah.
And the one objection we had, I'm sure they know that he would do a good job because he's their son. So,
Yeah. There were some things that will need to happen out there. There's some cleanup. They got that island area that's on his property where those stumps and the big rock is at. So there would have to be some significant things that are done in that planning to be prepared. But cross our fingers, maybe by next spring or early summer that would come to fruition and be done.
That'd be great.
Well, thank you guys for doing that.
no problem.
All right, next we have the State Route 571 crosswalk consultant fee proposal. Mr. Heron, is that you?
So I think my screen keeps going out, but there should be in the packet what showed is the breakdown to the scope of services for the engineering for the project, along with the anticipated price compensation for the project. Initially, what happens is choice one, who is our representative, turns in what that Excel spreadsheet that you have in front of you. They have to submit that to the state. The state has to review that and go over the pricing to make sure that the pricing is in line or lower than what the standard pricing would be. We got word back from ODOT that they're well within the standard for design and engineering. So ODOT is good with what they provided us. So next would just be council approving the engineering. And if that could be done in the December meeting, then they can hit the ground running and we can actually get, I know the council's interested in the engineering cost estimates, and those would come after we get the engineer established and permission to engineer the project. So that's where we're at.
So this says the engineering, I lost my spot. Okay, so preliminary engineering is $200,000. What is included in preliminary engineering?
So their scope, I'm pretty sure their scope was on here.
Because there's another 48,942, so $248,942 for engineering.
Yeah, do you have this form that starts out, Dear Mr. Heron, on it in there?
Yeah.
So that tells you everything that's included. The topography, basically an environmental study has to be done because of the right-of-way, the construction plans, the right-of-way plans, the construction administrative services. They would, basically, if there's design to be done if we have to move any utilities, landscaping, construction, staking, all of that is included.
It says choice one anticipates intersection lighting to be included on this project. State Route 571 and Stone Meadows Boulevard location will include overhead lighting on the proposed PHB does that mean like a stoplight?
No, that means updated street lighting for nighttime hours. Right now, at Jay and Hayes, there's a little bit of upgraded lighting there because of the businesses there, but it could involve adding poles, which would be found in the engineering study, basically setting that area up for the proper lumens in each area. And then I can tell you for sure that 571 in Stone Meadows is going to have upgraded lighting, which may include utilizing existing poles or installing new poles, because for that walk there should be at least one light diagonal across the street from each.
Yeah.
So that there's 100% lit in that
I'd almost
area.
think you might want 4 lights.
It's, that's
Depending on how
gonna
big
be
that-
part of their,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're saying this engineering compensation schedule for the $125,171, that's something that would have to be on the agenda as a resolution at the next meeting to
Yes.
move forward with that?
To stay on the schedule with ODOT and the grant submittal, that would be ideal.
Okay.
And that 125 can come from the grant we're getting, or
90%.
90% of that 125?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm supportive of adding that
Yeah,
to the.
I think the faster we can make that area as safe as we can, and I'm gonna throw my pitch in on reducing the speed limit even before then if we can.
I've had discussions with
I-
Mary from ODOT on that recently, but that's for another day.
Okay,
Or,
I'm
when you
appreci-
have more time, so.
I know you are, and I appreciate it, Ben.
We'll see what happens.
This 125 isn't in addition to the 700, almost
No, that's-
800,000. This is
No,
already.
that's all worked into the cost.
Yeah.
like
What
the
was-
engine
That's part of that
Yeah.
788 or whatever it is.
It's-
Yeah, yeah.
It says construction administrative services hourly upon request. Can we get from them, I'm just looking for information, but can we get like their hourly rates and what we're paying per hour? And how many hours they're anticipating? I'm looking at, in my packet, it's on page 31. It says additional, it's the letter, it says additional services.
I think that's a pretty standard rate, isn't it? In case they have to come out and shoot a grade or something like
Yeah.
that. They have to be
Yeah, that's
available.
additional.
What's the hour, but like what is that hourly rate?
Yeah, I would have to ask
It
them
doesn't
what.
look like
I'm
it does.
Are you
I'm
talking
sure
about
they-
for additional work, what the hourly rate would be?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like the preliminary engineering, environmental engineering, can we get a breakdown? So that's 95,000.
I think that's in that Excel file that's on there.
That thing's hard to read. I'm trying. Okay, so
Yeah, I can decipher that, I guess, and put it in.
proposal labor summary. Design.
There, it has the
Thank you.
hourly rates right
There
there.
it is.
Yeah. Field
Yeah.
surveyor, 30, professional surveyor, 58, designer.
Yeah,
I knew
Megan
it was
said
a
that-
standard thing.
Okay.
That file was hard to import to this agenda because it was a
It's
Excel
huge.
file. So, I mean, whatever you guys need, I can, it might take me a little while, but I can sit down and try to break down what,
No, this is good. Can you send us this choice one stuff
Yeah.
separately?
Mhm.
It's hard when we get it on like Friday afternoon and then
Yeah.
it's Tuesday night trying to get through every single thing sometimes.
Well, what I'm going to ask you for then isn't overly complicated. It's going to be your professional opinion if this is the best thing we need to do moving forward to get that project completed and the.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked it in my brain 5 different ways, but to have it done right, have it done safely, and get 90% of it funded, this is,
It checks all your Ben
Yeah.
boxes.
yeah.
What were other options we looked at besides spending $800,000 on crosswalks? Like what were some other options for those like, do we know how many kids live there?
It varies. I mean, there could be, at one time there was a dozen to.
Okay.
If there's even one,
Yeah.
it's
No,
worth
I
doing
agree
it.
with that. I'm just curious, like, what other options were.
But it's not just the one crosswalk, it's both. So
Yeah.
a lot crossing at
And
J.
this is, I mean, it's either the
571.
grant or we hire somebody and do it ourselves, which we'd be paying that, we'd be paying that amount out of pocket.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
And
I
this
mean, we
is-
are, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
just not from the village's
Yeah.
budget,
That's,
but it's.
I don't
all
know of any other
pockets.
way to.
I mean, this is 90-10, and we're paying the 10%, so.
Yeah, I thought there was, I just
Well,
couldn't find.
Yeah, I'm good for the resolution in December.
I agree.
Me too. And thank you for indulging all our questions, all our different angles, all our efforts to understand it completely.
I'll send you guys that spreadsheet also, because like I said, it is very hard to,
It's pretty,
decipher
it's
this
pretty
way.
encompassing. It's just
Yeah.
hard to,
yeah, it does give what you're asking
Yeah,
for.
there is like a column that says average hourly rate. It's
Yeah.
like different types of
Yeah.
services and,
No, I see that.
yeah. So I just don't know, like, the additional services, which one that would fall under.
And honestly, with the scope, going through it like quickly and then taking a long way through it, I cannot think of anything possible that isn't included in their scope. They've done multiple projects like these before, which is one reason why I think we lean toward choice one. So I really don't anticipate any outside charges on this. I think that's everything I think's been considered.
I'm not against the project.
No.
I just know that this is a lot of money, and I want to make sure, and I know that it is from ODOT, and it's federal money, and it's state money, but it's our taxpayer dollars. I just want to be clear, like, I think it's a great project. I just want to make sure that we have done everything we can to get the cost as low as possible, because at the end of the day, a federal grant or a state grant or a grant is taxpayer dollars.
If we don't use it, someone else will. And so, as the village council, our responsibility would be to use our village 10% to utilize whatever path we have to get that done.
And I will agree to disagree.
all right, so
Do we want to move on to the Spectrum building? If, I did not know what that was. If, Ben, do you care, giving us some info about the Spectrum
can,
building?
go
ahead, go right
Please,
ahead.
or
So-
Jeff?
Experience with it.
Back behind the parking lot, our public parking lot, there's a big brown building back there. That was built by Time Warner Cable, so that predates you guys probably totally. But I remember when they put it up. So Time Warner Cable built the building, and they started leasing that small piece of property from the village back in the 80s, maybe 80s, I guess.
so that's the building that brought us the Thriller video that we all ran home to
Same
watch.
one, yeah.
All right, all
Yeah,
right.
it went
So
right through that
it's
building.
historical.
Yeah, it is actually.
Y'all don't know about that.
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
We were hoping that they were done with it because we had a building there that we were using for the downtown garden club and stuff.
Yes.
And right after we got all the electric and stuff put on it, a lady lost her brakes in an SUV, went through the parking lot and smashed the building to pieces.
That's what I told Jeff. I did
Yeah, we talked
remember.
about that.
Like a month after we started using it?
Yeah.
So we were Jeff and I were talking to them, and it turns out they are still using it and they still would like to lease it. However, Manager Sheridan made sure that we had a clause in there that when they're done with the building, even though they're leasing the land, the building was put up by them. I know that to be true, so that when they're done with it, we get it, basically.
Can we work like extra space for gardening supplies into the
I think
lease?
once it's ours, it's whatever you.
I mean, while it's still theirs. I mean,
Oh, I don't
we
know about
can't
that.
put a rake or,
We can't get in, it's locked.
okay.
We tried. No, we
Don't we have a Verizon building downtown too? That,
Yes.
Yeah, that one's down Bookwalder's alley.
Yeah, that's a
Or
little.
Frontier. It's Frontier.
Well, okay. Yeah, it used to be Verizon at one point, but
Yeah.
little hidden infrastructure things that.
Yeah.
We
So,
need to execute the extension of the lease at the next meeting if you're so willing.
And this building houses what, like the Spectrum controls for
What do they pay us?
Something.
Yeah, probably.
for the village.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like their, I guess, computers or, I don't know how all that stuff works, but
Gotcha.
like a hub for all of that.
Okay.
I just know there's a lot of lines going in and coming out.
Have we ever upped the rent?
I don't know. I'm not sure how that part works.
Yeah, it's been $250.
What is
It's
it?
been that rate for a long time.
$250
a year.
I mean, I'm in favor of upping rent. $800,000 crosswalks, we could get that paid for. Park Pavilion, lots of ideas.
So they think they still need it through 2040? That's what they,
That's what they're
They at
saying.
least want to lease it that long. I can't believe they'll still need it by then, but that's what they offered. They want to renew it through 2040.
Wow.
do you want to renew it through 2040?
No.
Like,
You want to build it.
You know what, everything's gonna be here, but I mean, really a lot of places are just going to towers, so I mean, I'm gonna be shocked if they use that building for 10 more years,
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
okay. All
Should I
right.
add that to the agenda for action?
I don't even think it's going to be towers. I think it's going to be satellite.
Well, yeah, satellites, yeah.
I'm supportive of that.
Yeah.
I am too. I was making a joke about the rent. I just want to be clear.
Okay,
I'm
so we
serious.
have,
I said, I'm serious.
He was doing math.
I'm looking up what other cable companies and stuff pay for theirs, and yeah, they're getting an absolute steal.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they cleaned up around it a little bit. I don't know what we're just talking about now.
if we want to move on to the vacant building ordinance. So this is page 78 in the packet if you want to scroll down to that. This is the ordinance that we've looked at before
Oh, yes.
that Jeff brought to us.
Mayor,
Some-
did you just say page 78?
That's what mine says.
Mine says 78 also.
I've just never seen 78
You
pages.
didn't read all
We say so
87
much just
pages.
today with these iPads they paid for themselves.
Just wanted to make sure I captured that number correctly.
That everyone knows that we're reading 87 pages prior to these meetings. So this, also with Retail Strategies, they've recommended for part of our downtown revitalization that we implement a vacant building registration, which we had talked about. We kind of put it on the back burner when we hired Retail Strategies to see what their opinion on it was, or if they had any changes or recommendations. So we're kind of back to where we were again, and if it's something that we want to implement. And they have suggested it's successful in helping from their perspective, so.
Did they review ours and
We
give?
offered to give it to them. They didn't want to review it. They thought that was outside their scope.
So they won't review it, but they did, no.
One of
but
the
they-
things that I.
No, hold on. That's not a whole, hold on. They did send us other
To compare
vacant
to,
building registrations
that
to
they-
compare to, and they will work with us when we have something ready. So they will work with us when we have something ready to present to them.
Because to just say, yeah, that's a good idea, that wasn't the kind of expertise I thought we were.
No, we have lots of information.
Okay.
No, they sent us samples
They sent us a
and
list
some
of
articles,
communities that have done it.
and I can send that to you guys also.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
Jeff sent that this week.
Yes.
I sent what they provided me, yes.
Okay,
When do they
there's more.
meet again with?
We're meeting December 8th. We have a Zoom meeting.
That
Team
could be
meeting.
that could be discussed then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the
So-
8th is the day before our next meeting.
Yeah. I think that's it. Hold, let me double check.
I know one of the things while she's checking in this current,
December 4th.
ordinance that we had, it doesn't really address those buildings that have, maybe occupied in the second and third floors with tenants, but then a ground level, like rental space remains vacant. So that's something I think that we'd have to add to it just to kind of address that part.
I think it was a question that we had, how do you view that, Because as a commercial building, it's in use if it's in commercial real estate and it's rented. But kind of the big, I don't want to say rub, but one of the things we want to see is those street level commercial portions of the buildings in use of in some capacity is the whole intention.
Yeah, so I think there were like three main things. The buildings where there's residential on top, but then they keep the first commercial level empty or use it for store, not for a commercial business. And I don't know how we use that, properly write that language, that it's not.
It's in the definitions. Unoccupied, it's under the definitions. A building which is not being used for the occupancy authorized by the owner is not consistent with the zoning classification. So if you got a commercially zoned building downtown and they have residents above it, it's still not meeting the definition because it's primarily a commercial structure. So if they have nothing in the first floor, as I read it, and I'm not the attorney, I wish the law director was here, I think that meets that.
So if they're using it for personal storage things,
That would also not
and
meet.
they open a pop-up shop once a year for a couple hours, that wouldn't
I'll defer to your law director. That's a legal question. I'm just wanted to point out there is some language that I think addresses some of what you're mentioning.
Okay, and then the other is industrial. Industrial specifically excluded out of this, and I think we need to include it because that's going to bring in jobs, and maybe not a ton of jobs, but it's still, if you bring in 10 jobs, that's still 10 new jobs into the economy.
So primarily, if I remember right, when I went around all these places, the industrial areas is zoned industrial South Main off of Emmerich, between Emmerich,
Yep. Yes.
and then
And
pretty
Ruby's.
much around the granary.
Yes.
And that's about it.
I believe that's correct.
And we are changing any of that with the,
The new zoning map?
yeah.
No.
That
I
would
would not
stay the
expect.
same.
I would expect that to
Okay.
stay the same, but it's not been discussed by the planning board.
So nothing downtown is zoned industrial. It's the granary, J Road right in through there, and then not till you get down to where McGrath used to be in that area in
I think it's
there.
called Excel now.
What?
The car shop? I think it's called Excel now.
Oh, yeah, Excel. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
My-
I was
it's
just
big-
thinking
yeah, no,
to
my-
give them credit, shout
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
The building looks amazing.
It does look
Painted
great.
it props to Excel.
I hear they're
Auto.
great also.
I had a coworker at work actually today told me someone else wanted to charge him like $800, and he went in there and they did it for $200 and treated him right. So
That's awesome.
he's now a customer. So
I'm so glad to hear
so
that.
yeah, double shout out.
I guess the question then is, are we trying to focus on the vacant building registration only in the downtown core?
I say
Or-
no.
I'm in agreement with Mayor Metz. And I say that because we are so small in size anyway, that it's a very short walk from the north side of downtown to the industrial park area on Main Street.
Sure.
And I think that just a rising tide lifts all ships, and if we just join together, that we're also being a little bit more equal in saying, you have this commercial building, you have to rent it out, you have an industrial building, you also have to utilize it.
And in our work with Downtown Strategies, they don't have like a perimeter. They're not saying from McDonald's to Clark's Pizza, and that's the district we're working in. It's
the
wherever
whole-
it
yeah.
happens throughout the village
I mean,
is
when
how
you
they
look,
work.
when I went through and charted each open thing, like there's little hidden things next to Subway. There's one, two
One
right
vacant.
there that you don't even realize are there that
One
are
vacant, yeah.
nice little commercial spots. There's all kinds of little hidden gems, but I mean, it's, again, the whole thing with retail strategies is bringing in businesses that want to rent those spaces and, coordinating, getting them occupied and useful, because I'm sure those property owners would like to see rent checks coming in,
Absolutely.
But I will say the other thing that because we kind of walked and did all this, is I think there's a lot that can be done with code enforcement with some of the empty buildings and properties. Looking in one building, you could just see, I'm just going to be honest, there were dead birds laying on the ground.
I know exactly which building you're
Yeah,
talking
so I'm not calling anybody out or identifying it, it is what it is. But I just saw just a lot of deferred maintenance and just a lack of upkeep. Again, not blaming, not making excuses, is what it is. But in addition to doing a vacant building ordinance, I think, doing what we can, looking at them individually one at a time, for what they are and their any code violations with maintenance and things like that. And I say that to say that the property owners downtown that are putting on paint and fixing things and stuff like that, it has a huge impact. And, absolutely thank them for investing in their properties and in our downtown area. And just hope to see more continued good change like that.
I agree with Councilperson or Vice Mayor Gregory. I do think that it's not going to hurt anything to include, something about the industrial zoning in case that does change in the future. So as far as next steps go, I know a couple of us had questions for Lene. Is that something we kind of want to maybe send her some questions through email and then powwow? And if we decide that,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You haven't had a chance to really probably dig into
Exactly.
it and take a look at it, being new
Yeah.
To council, and you might have some questions or concerns that some of us didn't think about. Same thing with Jeremy too, in reference to this. So I think our big thing is section 98.24, the vacant building fees. That's something that we really would have to discuss more and narrow down before this move forward. But yeah, I think we do our due diligence again. Everybody takes a good look at it. Send any questions we have to Manager Sheridan to get to Lene, and then we can plan to maybe talk about it again at the next meeting, because most likely we won't have a workshop. So that'll be our next opportunity before the.
If it would be helpful, as long as it's not a quorum, we could have a meeting with the law director and a couple of counselors
Sure.
to directly ask
Sure.
questions, and I think that might be more productive if that's all right.
Yeah.
3 people want to volunteer for a subcommittee?
I'm supportive of that.
I mean, I'll do it.
I heard Levi say yes. I was
I
very
think
quiet.
Levi and Jeremy would
Whoever-
be good because they haven't
Yeah.
dug into this
Whoever
yet, really.
whoever you want.
Were you part of it?
I started right as it was kind of shut down.
Okay, and we weren't shutting it down. We just wanted to wait for retail strategy, so that's why I bring it back.
Wanted their input, because
Yeah.
we've got one downtown. They've worked with many downtowns. That's kind of their shtick,
And the other thing that I wanted to bring up too is the residential, so vacant houses. If you own a house that is sitting there vacant, and I don't mean like you're a snowbird. I mean, there's a house that is just sitting, and I don't know that we have many or any of these. I don't know the answer to that. But just a vacant house just sitting. If we can include that, I don't know what everybody else thinks
It's
about
in there.
that.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Okay.
I think the
thought
biggest
it was
issue was just the fees.
the fees in the
Yeah.
industrial.
Some of the fees would outpace the value of the building the way it was originally.
I think that's kind of the point.
That's the point.
Well,
For a vacant, for a vacant house though, if it's not a code violation, I don't know, I don't see, I guess there's a housing shortage in Miami County, but I guess if I owned a second home in West Milton, I would think if I kept it.
If I may, the primary initial purpose would be to get information, so you know who to talk to. Could there be a situation where it makes sense why the owner is leaving it vacant? Absolutely. Then it wouldn't be in violation. It's not necessarily to begin punishing, it's to gather information so you know who to talk to when you're talking about specific structures. So you start with the registration.
But do we know who to talk to just with anyone's house now?
Sometimes we do, but not always.
Well, you go by the county records.
So would that be the same then
We
for
start
a
with the
vacant
utility.
house?
Yeah, when something's,
So I wonder if for residential, we could do like the fee schedule different, where it's like,
Yeah.
I have a house in West Milton
Yeah,
that's vacant.
it's different.
I've got somebody that goes and checks on it, like, I don't want to rent it out because I might maybe, like,
Yeah.
whatever that situation is, to where there's a different fee schedule or there's no fee schedule. Because I see your point too. Like, if it's, to me, if it's well kept, it's locked up, it's safe.
right. It's not a problem. You have the ability not to waive any penalties. I mean, it's not, they're not going to be punished if they're in compliance.
I think if you talk to some property owners, I think they were hesitant to be a part of a registry and to have to pay a fee. And then there was an inspection part to that as well.
There can be, there doesn't have to be.
And
It's whatever you want.
I would just encourage you all to talk to somebody. You all know somebody who owns some rental properties in town. Get their opinion and feedback on it as part of your decision-making process. It'd just be my advice. I see the good and the bad. I know what property inspections do. I work with the public housing authorities in my day job, and I tell you, there are pros to it because it means people have to maintain properties to a certain level. I also know that from the landlord standpoint, that it's something that they're not always wanting someone else looking over their shoulder telling them how and what to do. So, just talk to somebody and get their opinion.
I feel the end goal of this is to get commercial spaces available for rent, get our industrial buildings that are sitting vacant, that have been vacant for years, available to create new jobs. It's not a punishment, and it's also a way for us to know what our inventory is. And one of the things that we learned doing like the walk downtown with retail strategies and talking to them a lot is, there are things that we can do also to make those buildings more rentable. We're not going to go in and improve your building. That's not that's not government job. Like, government does not, we're not going to go and fix up your broken down building. But there are things that we can do to participate and work together as a team to get those buildings rented out, to get our downtown thriving again, or thriving more.
See, I don't say this to be argumentative, what you said, but I'd be all in on working with the land bank and the village purchasing a building every other year and helping.
Oh, we've talked
bring
to
it up.
them.
And just bringing things up, and then for someone who's got a plan for it, then the village sells it and puts another one back in the thing where, I don't know, just throwing it out there as.
I'm 100% on board with that idea.
So
I love that idea.
Just for what it's worth, everybody mull that idea around too, because I think it would be a powerful thing on not a lot of money to take something off someone's hands and make it a viable use, and then take somebody that's got a viable business plan and literally like an incubator, and then they have to secure financing in so many years, and then the sale goes through. I think over a period of years, I think you could have an impact for not a huge amount of money. And I think change in a positive way is as contagious as neglect can be. Why do you want to improve your property when the guy next to you isn't? It works the other way too. Somebody's neglecting their property. When they see that, then they're like, "Oh wow, somebody, now I gotta, I don't want to be left out. I got to bring mine up." So I think it, and again, that's a great idea to pitch past retail strategies, but I think it would be a good investment or idea for the village, but.
That is a perfect segue into,
If I may, if the three of you would let me know your availability, I'll get a meeting set up with the law director.
All right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I'd say too, if anyone has any other input or any questions, get that to Levi or Sarah or Jeremy to what we have. So when you have that meeting, everything's addressed.
And if somebody wants to sit in instead of me, that's fine too. I don't mind, I'm just
think
saying,
you're the
if you
best.
want
No,
to.
you're perfect.
You're perfect
You're
for that job.
you're the
Thanks.
connection with the retail strategy.
Fogel's
so I
gonna
think
give you his
you're-
questions no matter what.
Yes, yes,
And
exactly.
we all appreciate your energy and attention to detail and your efforts.
Thanks.
So
I
the
meant
village
that.
purchasing
I
property,
believe you.
segue into the school-owned tennis courts and basketball courts. Jeff had an appraisal done that was sent to us in our email, and something we can put on December council meeting for an executive session if we want to
That's-
discuss
That's what I would suggest.
purchase.
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
property.
Review it and get an executive session set up.
Because I went and looked at what those current 3 parcels are valued at on the county auditor site, and
That's kind of always a misgiver though, because things are always highly undervalued, I think, on the auditor's website.
I just
to a
would
certain
use it as a
extent.
good barometer for
Yeah,
accuracy on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
appraisal.
yeah, okay, I'm good to let's talk about it. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Very good. We'll add it.
I think it'd be a positive way forward.
Yeah, kind of like what you were saying, right? Just
Oh, no.
the village
I'm-
buying property and
Yeah.
kind
I'm
of
all
updating it,
for it.
maintaining it. Yeah. Next, we're going to discuss reestablishing a park board.
I think it would be great, especially now that we're getting or looking at this funds from Premier, to establish something in our park with a pavilion or a stage or what have you. It would be great to, to get that entity established back up. If I'm not mistaken, before it was 3 members from the community and then a member from council that was that sit in on that board,
There's
because
more
I
than
was
one.
I
on.
would, may I make a suggestion, Counselor? I would suggest before you establish a new park board, we could do a committee of maybe a councilman or 2 and a planning board member and some staff and come up with some parameters for this proposed new pavilion and then bring it back to you. I think once we got it going, right now, we have a hard time getting quorums for planning board and board of adjustments. I'd hate to try to herd another group on a monthly meeting without a budget and try to get a quorum.
There is
If
a
that's
budget for parks.
Not for a new park board. It's up to you, but I think it would be more efficient to do it with a couple of councilmen and a planning board, or a couple of planning board members and a councilman and Ben, and figure out where we're going to go with that first.
I would not move forward with anything to do with the pavilion and all that contingent on waiting on a park board.
Yeah,
I would
no.
keep that
Yeah, I
separate from
agree.
the idea of forming
I
a
want to
park
move
board.
forward on getting the
Right,
pavilion
right,
put
right. To
together.
me, that's a separate thing.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
you
do
know.
that, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I
And I
agree.
also think that there's other things though too. Because we're building the new park and then activities in the park, events in the park. I think it would be cool to have a group of volunteers. I mean, we have Project Revival, so I'm not saying that, but like a group of volunteers to do park things, especially as we're talking about the Main Street program, like having a group, getting them going to do events in the park would be helpful
I think
at some point.
the planning board seems underutilized, if I may say. Just a lot of, setback and zoning things currently. So like Jeff said, we have a hard time getting volunteers anyway. If the planning board had more park board type duties, not that we can't put it out to the community and say who's interested in joining the
And
park
that's
board.
consistent with what the charter describes the role of the planning board.
And basically, if you're interested in the park board, then you would be on planning board. And or board of adjustments, and they kind of take the role, and if 1 or 2 council members plus that. But I think, we already have a hard time getting quorums and getting people there. So if we can kind of utilize the people we have, but then put it out that we are looking for more park board, planning
We're always
board.
looking for volunteers.
That's true.
Might not have anything exactly today, but we're always looking for volunteers, especially as we move forward.
So could we put that maybe on what, December 4th, 3rd, 5th? No,
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
December
3rd.
3rd.
You're talking the joint meeting of the planning board? Yes.
Yes, could we put that
Sure.
on as an agenda
Sure,
item for
absolutely.
Can
that?
you send out a calendar invite to everybody for
For
that
the,
meeting?
for that joint meeting? Sure.
Yeah, I think that might be beneficial to put calendar invites out for the planning board, the Board of Adjustments, as an extra reminder. Like, we know, but like,
Okay. I think staff can do that, sure.
I apologize, but I won't be here. I'll be in Orlando. So, yeah, work commitment.
So that means you're volunteering to serve on
I was gonna say. So what are we?
you know what happens when you're not
Yeah,
at
I
meetings.
know. I figured I'd just say.
So we're gonna create a new board for Fogel
Yeah.
to.
Annual simulator
gonna meet
conference.
once a
and
week
So, yeah.
during the
it's
summer.
Having to
golf
go to
league
Orlando.
He won't be there.
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
So yeah, if everyone's good with that, we'll talk about that again, December 3rd. All right. Next, we have the sidewalk program that we had put out the applications or
Right.
allowed people.
Since we only had a handful of applications and we could have possibly done concrete work this late, I think it makes sense to start over next spring and try a different approach. Get back with the ones who already applied, tell them to be on the list to go, and move forward. But when 90% of the neighborhoods signs a petition against it, that's something we
Well,
need to.
did we ever get the list of people who put forth interest?
Yeah, there's a list of 4, but the applications got misplaced, so I'm gonna
Okay.
have to narrow those down.
Were any of them in that area?
In that area, yeah, the area
Okay,
we
so-
specified, yes. There's 4 or 5 that were in the area. And,
Okay, so.
yeah, we'll start with
So the
those.
So
other
there were 4 or
announcement-
5 applications within Doer and.
Yes,
That,
yes. that's
Really?
But
correct.
we don't have the application?
I don't have them at the moment. They got put in the wrong file. We can't find them. Because we've got the petition, I can narrow down all of those and the ones who have sidewalks, and there's not that many left. So I'm gonna find out for sure who they are, get them on the list, and get the paperwork filled out again.
If you filled out the sidewalk application, please call the village
There you go.
office and
That would be very helpful
It
and
would
save a lot of
indeed.
time.
Thank you very much.
let
Mayor.
us know that you are interested in a
We
sidewalk.
want your participation, and we're gonna work with you.
I don't know that I can say the petition, sometimes petitions seem a little, if you're a neighbor with someone, you might just feel
Sure.
obligated to sign the petition to keep face with your neighbor. So I don't know that that is the best thing necessarily to go by, but yeah, we would like to, connect the village and make it safer and connect sidewalks where we have missing sidewalks. So if you applied, please let us know, get a hold of Jeff, and we will move forward for spring.
Sounds good.
Is there any old business?
nope.
I have none.
I do want to report just real quick. Jeff and I met with Retail Strategies today on the national chain, the commercial side.
Okay.
The meeting went really well. Basically, where they're at is, we go under contract. They have been to 2 trade shows. They went to one in Chicago, and I believe the other one was in Indianapolis.
In DC.
In DC.
There was one in DC.
Okay. And they've talked to several different companies. They're gathering data. They highlighted some core areas that would be really good. There's a lot south of town on 48. Obviously Stillwater Crossing. And then that space between Subway and the Dollar Tree, that they're kind of looking for different types of tenants that would go in those places. They were looking for more of a service type business to go in that, to hopefully attract, to go in between Subway and the Dollar Tree. The next kind of step is reaching out to the owners of those properties and having conversations with them to see what they think, what they would like to have happen there, to get to learn, some backstory with those properties. So they are working for us, but it's not going to happen overnight, obviously.
Sure.
I think we all know that, but there is progress being made, and they had a whole lot of data.
Good.
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 Yeah. Well, bit of old business. Thank you again for setting up the tour of the Miami County Jail downtown. That in Troy, that was very eye-opening, especially with what they've got on the table, looking at the, you know, the possibility of the sales tax increase and so forth. But yeah, it was. Thanks for getting that established and inviting all of us. It was good.
They also mentioned the Miami County Commissioner, they would be putting, you might know more, something online so that people who don't feel comfortable maybe visiting the jail in person, they're going to have a jail tour that people can watch online.
Yeah, they did a video. Apparently, I'm a frequent in the Miami County Jail as a visitor, but they did it.
Glad you stipulated.
As a visitor. So they
The jokes
did.
write themselves.
They did a video tour that they're going to release soon. But if anybody is interested in taking like a civic group or your church group or a group of your friends, like please reach out to me. You can email me. I am very, very findable. Just reach out to me and I will help get something coordinated because I am really passionate about this. And I think like when you've been through it, like you understand, I'm really passionate about hoping to get this new jail and make a difference in Miami County. So if you have like a group, whatever, like I am more than happy to get a tour organized for you.
She's gonna have like 25 pen pals from there after this.
Listen, I've been there 4 times already, and I'm working on another tour. I'm on a mission.
One thing I know people I've talked to mentioned, you know, they're not in favor of building a new jail and making things nicer for inmates, and you'll just want them to come back, and the inmates will want to stay longer and do whatever it takes to get back into jail. But something they mentioned was a lot more like mental health services that they would be able to offer at the new location and have room for that. Where now they're kind of landlocked and don't have those services. They have the services, but just not as great as they could in the future, which would help mitigate some of the
I'm
issues.
sure the sheriff and the chief have a much better spiel on this than I do, but our police and our jail system, unfortunately, sometimes end up being the forefront of our mental health system. You know, that's just a fact of the matter. When the opioid epidemic kicked off, it was just flooded. And there's a difference between comfortable and then there's humane. And I don't think anybody's trying to make it the 4 seasons. People are just asking for humanity.
And safe for
And
the employees.
safety for the people
For
who
the
work there.
employees, yes.
They'll spend, 8 hours a day for, decades-long careers there. So for those people that we employ in the county, just it's one of those things you gotta do. I mean,
Yeah, the average jail stay is about 13 days for an inmate. The jail administrator has worked there for 26 years. So for 26 years, he's been in that environment, which just continues to get worse.
All right. Is there any more old business?
do we have any updates on AES on the connecting the power out there?
My understanding is the.
Do you guys have light?
No,
No,
they're all up, but we don't have light yet.
But the, I can't think of the word, it's been installed, the meter, thank you. The meter's been installed, so I'm not sure what they're waiting on to turn them on.
Is there like a deposit fee that's gotta be paid?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, I know what it is for a house, but I don't know what it costs for a neighborhood.
I will.
And do we pay that, or does?
No,
Okay.
I will follow up with AES tomorrow.
No, eventually we get the bill though, don't we?
You will
Just like
get the
we
bill.
Get all
Yes.
the street
Yes.
lights in town, right?
That's correct.
So is there something we're supposed to be doing that we're not?
No.
They're usually pretty, I mean, I'm not calling them slow. I don't know what their workload's
Deliberate.
like, but.
We gonna coordinate
Yeah.
that with the Christmas tree lighting? We'll-
Yes, that's what I said. Flip the switch and then it all
Light 'em
comes
up.
on.
Yeah,
That'd be
Christmas
great.
miracle.
Yeah, AES, if you're listening, you know.
December
we had a
6th.
guy, we had a guy forever, every meeting here.
He
You know what I'm talking
retired.
about?
Yeah,
Now we don't have that.
He was great.
yeah.
He would make that happen. He would have this coordinated. We'd have lights
You're talking
now.
about Bob Stallman.
Yeah,
Bob Stallman, yep.
He was
He
great.
was awesome.
He's here at every meeting.
Yeah, where is he?
He retired.
Retired.
He retired.
Oh. One more old business, speaking of lights, the Christmas tree lighting is on December 6th at the parking lot downtown at 5:30 p.m. And back by popular demand, there are carriage rides. We do have Santa, we do have photos, there is hot chocolate and cookies, and Christmas cheer for everyone. And I hope to see everyone there. And Mayor Metz is turning on the Christmas tree.
Woo! All right.
Yeah, thank you.
One more
So
box, Chad.
5:30.
She's a legend.
I need a ribbon cutting. Can we have a ribbon cutting?
I got you.
Big scissors.
Hey, Dayon, you need to make sure to touch base with your neighbor that he knows that the meeting's at 6:30 to say the prayer. Pastor Peters,
Okay.
Steve Peters,
I see.
because remember he was late last year
Oh, yeah,
because he
yeah.
forgot that we didn't know that we moved the meeting up
To
to 6:30 instead of 7:30.
If I see them out, I will
Yeah.
remind him.
And the tree lighting doesn't happen at 5:30, but the events happen at, it starts at
It
5:30?
starts at 5:30. We have a special guest of honor opening in prayer, and then Mayor Metz lighting the tree. But it'll all start at 5:30.
Okay.
I'll be there before that, I'm sure.
Any more new business, old business? Once, twice?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Happy
All in-
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.